Hi guys, and welcome back for another video here at Ricky's Vape Spot. Today we'll be taking a look at the Minikin 150 by WEHE. So a few days back I made a store update for Parilica, and one of the products that came in new was this WEHE 150. And I did some research on it because it's obviously the same design as the Tfr Modes Minikin 150. I also asked the people from Parilica HR to get back to the manufacturer of this just to clear out a few things. And what the WEHE Minikin 150 is actually, it's an in-house device by Sigelli branded with WEHE. Sigelli is the manufacturer for both of these devices, the Tfr Modes Minikin 150 and the WEHE 150 device. So to my knowledge, Tfr Modes came out with this device first, and I think it's their design, I think it's their chip and everything. But Sigelli was the manufacturer of the device. So what Sigelli did behind the brand name WEHE, I guess, is they said, okay, we'll take this design and we'll make our own mod and brand it with our own logo. Although you will see in the close-ups, this logo is like identical to the Tfr Modes logo. I wished actually they stepped a little bit away from this design, just because I don't think it's really fair to take someone's design and then make the same exact logo as they did, mainly because I don't think it's okay for people to be misled. And if you go online, you will see a lot of threads about WEHE's. Are those authentic? Are those clones? I don't think you can call them clones in that particular way because the same company makes them. As I said, Sigelli is making both of them. So one thing that was a big issue with this device when Tfr Modes came out with it was that it had support for a gazillion wires. Even some wires you never even heard about, wires of gold and stuff like that. So stuff you will obviously never use. So when WEHE came out with this chip, they decided to get rid of all this abundance of wire options for temp control, and they sticked only with the well-known. So you have inside, you have stainless steel, nickel, titanium, and Tfr modes. So that's basically about it. And of course power mode for wattage. I think it's more usable like this, and I even heard some rumors that Tfr Modes was supposed to change those wire options and put most of them away and just stay with them, but in the end they decided to go with all of the wire options, which is not the case in the WEHE. And I think it makes real-world usage of this mod and device more friendly in everyday use. I'm actually glad that WEHE didn't stick in copying the whole thing, but they just made it their own. So the chip that is inside is also called the WEHE GX120V2 version 2. I'm not sure about the chip, but if Sigelli was making the chip for Tfr Modes, I think they just put basically the same chip inside. As I said, I cannot confirm that. If you have any other information, please let me know down in the comment section below. But that's what I know about this device so far. So is it a clone? I don't think it's a clone. I just think that Sigelli used the designs that they got from Tfr Modes to make their own in-house chip and blatantly copied it to make their own version of it under the name WEHE. Usually when something is connected with clones, we always have, it's like bad quality, inferior product and stuff like that. But I think this basically is the same thing as the Tfr Modes 150, simply because it came out of the same factory. I think it's definitely an okay value for the money you give. Is it okay to be copied? No, it's not. But it is what it is, and we'll take a look at it. So before we talk any more about this, let's go down to the table and have a closer look at it. Okay guys, and here we are with a close-up look for the WEHE Minikin 150 device. This is the front of the device, distribution 18+. On the back we do get some company infos. On the bottom side it says WEHE Mod, and this is actually a pretty copied logo from the Asmodus company, as you can see. So let's open up the device. Inside the box we do have the mod itself. We'll put this aside for now. We'll take this out, and underneath we do have a user manual. We do have a warranty card. This shows you how the warranty functions, as well as a small leaflet for battery safety. And that's basically about it. There's no micro USB cable inside. I suppose you have those lying around anyways. Let's go to the mod. So right now let's look at the device from top to bottom. On top we do have a spring-loaded 510 pin. Spring-loaded is. It does look like a screw, but you can't really screw it. It only turns a little bit and then it stops. So I don't think this is meant to be screwed. Don't screw around with it, just use it as it is, spring-loaded. On the front face of the mod we do have the power button. It's a really nice click. Sounds a little bit hollow now, but as soon as you put the batteries inside it's actually going to be okay. The screen itself kind of has this mirror finish on it, same as the button. But when the screen is lit, it really shines through, so that's not a con. On the other side, we do have the minus and the plus buttons here. Those are not labeled, but I suppose the plus button is the one on top and the minus button is the one down. On top here, we do have a micro USB charging port. And on the bottom itself, we do have venting. This is a C-shaped frame device, and actually pretty small for a 218/650 device. We'll take a scale and we'll compare it to the EVIC-VTC Mini. So both devices without batteries. We have the EVIC-VTC Mini here, coming out to 119.34 grams, and the WEHE 150 coming out to almost 170 grams, 169.87. It gets even more heavy when we put in some batteries, and when we put in some batteries, EVIC-VTC Mini gets up to 164. So if we install two batteries in this one, the weight goes up to 260 grams, almost 259 grams. We'll use it with the K-Fun V5 here. So let's go through the menu. To turn the device on, you will click the fire button 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It says WEHE here, and we are already greeted with the screen. We have 5 clicks to turn it off. If you would like to change the settings for your wires, all you have to do is actually, when it's on, press the fire button 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then you can basically choose with those up and down buttons on the side which mode you're interested in. So right now we'll go with nickel because I have an NIFE coil, and you can switch between Celsius and Fahrenheit, so that's something that you choose, and already you are inside. If you are pressing the minus and the plus button at the same time, you will actually go into lock or read the atomizer, and it's always actually a good idea to read the atomizer first. So what it does is actually read the resistance and then it locks it in. Okay, so if we press it again, we can actually lock the resistance. So now it's going to use this resistance here all the time. If you want to change the TCR or Tfr modes, you will have to go into those settings again by clicking the fire button 3 times and then go down to TCR. You have M1, M2, M3, M4 and M5, and whichever one you choose you will actually go through the TCR settings. So TCR, and then you set the power here, and then you set it to Fahrenheit or Celsius, and then you lock it in basically. If you want to adjust your wattage in temperature control mode, what you need to do is basically push the plus and the fire button at the same time, and then you actually set the wattage here. You dial it in Let's keep it at 31.5, and then you dial the preheat settings. Now this cannot be turned off, but you can set it if you want all the way down to 0.01 ohms. I'll usually keep myself as it came with the factory, and that was 0.1, like so. And then to dial that in, you just press the fire button. In temperature control mode, you will scroll down in 1 degrees Fahrenheit, increments of 1 degrees Fahrenheit. So all the way from 212 degrees up to 572 degrees Fahrenheit. This mod also offers a temperature compensation settings, and you get into that mode by pressing the plus and the minus button, and then the fire button for 3 seconds. Temperature compensate, and now if you see that your device is off, we saw this in the Sigelli 213, you can basically compensate your temperature. So if you see that your device is off, you can basically fine-tune it with this one and then vape it how you're used to. So if you would like to lock your device, click the minus and the fire button at the same time, and then we have a button lock. So that was a closer look at the Minikin150 by WEHE Mods. Let's go back to FaceTime, talk a little more about it, have a vape, and then we'll call it a day. So let's just go a little bit over those specifications of the WEHE Minikin150. As I said, the chip that's inside is the GX120 V2 WEHE chip. It goes up to 150 watts. Just always take care you're using safe batteries, and that you don't put in one old and one new, and especially if you have an option, use an external charger. That will help a lot. So it takes two 18650 batteries, flat top. I don't think the nipple top will fit inside. Output range for wattage is from 10 watts up to 150 watts. Temperature control range from 212 to 572 degrees Fahrenheit, and 100 Celsius to 300 degrees Celsius. The atomizer ohm range that you can put on them is from 0.1 ohms to 3 ohms. The output voltage range for this device is from 1 volts to 7.5 volts, or the max output voltage is from 6.4 to 8.4 volts, depending of course on which batteries you are using. Supports USB charging, output peak current 35 amps, input peak current 35 amps, standby time 10 seconds, and vaping time 10 seconds until the cutoff kicks in. It has also all safety protections built in, like reverse battery, input high voltage warning, input low voltage warning, low resistance protection, high resistance protection, and chip overheating protection. I'm not able to test all of that out here, but we'll take their word for it. So far I haven't heard anything bad about this WEHE boards. I think it's pretty good. So let's talk a little bit more about the price of this device. And the price of this device, let me just go to Parilica HR's website, where you can find the Minikin150 by WEHE for 70 euros, 70.61 euros, or in Croatian, in kunas, that's 530.10 kunas. For their web price in store, it's a little bit higher, 589 kunas. A few pros and cons for this product, and those are gonna be mainly subjective cons for me. First of all, this is a pretty big device. If you hold it next to a iStick Pico, which I kind of use a lot lately, this is really huge. It basically dwarfs it. It gets really heavy with those two 18650 batteries inside. For me, this is a mod that I would rarely carry outside, simply because it's too big for me. But I know that a lot of people like bigger mods, and you guys might find this actually pretty good. Otherwise, it lies actually pretty good in the hand. Rounded off side here on the back makes it actually comfortable for you to hold, but it does feel a little bit clumsy in the hand, especially if you have a little bit smaller hands like I do. This is definitely not one of those mods that you carry in your back pocket, unless you want your pants to drop. So another subjective con is definitely that this is at least I'm not aware of that this is firmware upgradable. So you're basically stuck with what you have. And I don't think that this device is something that you need to firmware upgrade anyways. I basically rarely update my firmware, especially because another subjective con that this is design-wise a copy device from the S Modus Minikin. But if you're okay with that, I guess that's fine. The pros is definitely if you are into higher wattages. You can achieve that with this one, now up to 150 watts. Takes two 18650 batteries, so the battery life might drastically improve for you, especially if you're used in using single 18650 devices, and if you're looking for something bigger. The build quality is pretty nice on this one. It's heavy, it does feel substantial in your hand, and I couldn't find anything that's really not fitted. But the battery door actually holds itself pretty well too, mainly because it does slide out a little bit, but it won't go all the way if you don't hold it really loosely. And it's nice and smooth actually. If you hold it this way, I think this is a really clever design. I even pulled on it a few times like this and I couldn't get it apart simply because this side here is longer than this side. So usually you always have one part of your hand covering this door and one part of your hand covering the mod. So you won't be able actually to just slide it away. You have to really grab it from the top and then pull it out. Especially what I like about those higher wattage devices is that the Vape Experience is a pretty smooth one, because the device itself can deliver a lot of power to balance the output that you get out of it. As of Vape Experience, I think this is a really nice device. I'm using it in Temp Control now, 380 degrees Fahrenheit at a 0.38 NIFE wire in nickel mode, and it's working just as it's supposed to be. So that was about it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you found some of those informations useful. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm planning actually a big giveaway as soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers, and I think it's gonna happen pretty fast in the next month or so. So make sure you're subscribed. You can also follow me on my Facebook page and my Instagram account and my Twitter account. I leave all the links down in the description box below. And so I think we've covered most of what you need to know about this device. If you do have any further questions, please let me know down in the comment section below. Of course, you can go and check out this mod for yourself at Parilica.hr's website, or come to the store. They have it in store too if you're from Croatia or from any of the neighboring countries. So more than welcome to drop by. I think that's basically it for today. The next video that's coming out will be about the Clado from Aspire, but more with a twist looking at the RBA section for this device. So that's coming out in the next few days, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and that's it. I'm wishing you all a wonderful rest of the day. Let's keep on vaping, and I'll see you again pretty soon.